Highlights of the news today, 23rd of December. A British woman has been raped by an illegal immigrant who worked in a car wash. Ex-veterans in Liverpool have been expressing their anger over the Occupy Liverpool demonstration. More and more football stars are being oppressed in the racist witch hunt. Nick Griffin has sent us his last report this year from the belly of the beast. 60 people have been killed by bombings in Iraq as American troops leave the country. UK news. A British woman has been raped by an illegal immigrant who worked in a car wash. The illegal immigrant, named as Redwar Omar from Iraq, offered to share a taxi cab with the young woman, aged 23, in the early hours of 16th of April this year. When the woman got out of the cab, he followed her, put his hand over her mouth and raped her, the Nottingham Crown Court heard. The judge gave him 10 years in prison, and then he is to be deported back to Iraq. The Muslim sex attacker denied any part of the rape, even though his DNA was present. The court also heard that he had caused the young woman terrible injuries. Ex-veterans in Liverpool have been expressing their anger over the Occupy Liverpool demonstration. The Marxists have pitched tents around the War Memorial on St George Plateau, which is a tribute to the Duke of Wellington, who defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. Banners have been placed on the War Memorial to British soldiers who fell. One Marxist, when questioned, said he was a warmonger. This show provoked anger to ex-veterans when the video was placed on the social networking site YouTube. More and more football stars are being oppressed in the racist witch hunt. Liverpool FC's Luis Suarez has just been given an 8-match ban. England captain John Terry has been charged with a similar offence, and now ex-Liverpool defender and Scottish international legend and commentator Alan Hansen. Mr Hansen was in discussion on Match of the Day this week, and when talking about the Suarez and Terry incidents, said coloured twice instead of black. Mr Hansen then had to apologise publicly. One British nationalist said it will soon get that way, that even fouling a player of another race on the pitch will be a racially motivated offence. Euronews with Nick Griffin. Nick Griffin has sent us his last report this year from the belly of the beast in the European Parliament. Visitors to the Parliament in Brussels now have an extra attraction to visit, but warns Mr Griffin you will need to have a Eurosceptic anti-indoctrination vaccination, or at the very least a big pinch of salt, before you go in. After several years and up to €30 million of taxpayers' money, the Parliamentarian Visitors Centre is now open. It is based, rather aptly, in the Willy Brandt building. Brandt was the West German Chancellor who, like his British counterpart Ted Heath, was a shameless traitor to his own nation and a probable Soviet spy to boot. On entering the Parliamentarian, visitors are given a high-tech handset earpiece which interacts with various exhibits to tell you about them in your own language and provide additional explanatory text. No expense has been spared in the display spaces either. In technical terms, the whole place is extravagant beyond anything provided in any paying commercial museum or exhibition centre anywhere in Britain. No concessions to common sense or decency have been made in the coverage of the subject of the EU project either. From start to finish, says Nick, the visitor is bombarded with self-serving, pro-federal European propaganda. The pictures, the commentary, the captions, the imagery, no trick is missed in the bid to selectively inform and indoctrinate the audience. Just a fraction more over the top, and it could be mistaken for a very subtle satire on the Europhiles' misguided sense of self-important and utopianism. As it is, the Brussels Parliamentarian is perhaps closest to George Orwell's Ministry of Truth, the mini-true, if it had been done by Carlsberg. A change of flag and captions, and if the post-war Europe had been modelled on Heinrich Himmler's 1944 proposals for the Europäische Economic Gesellschaft. That translates literally as the European Economic Community, by the way. Joseph Goebbels would have loved it. The key target audience is clearly the parties of schoolchildren who are shepherded through the centre as part of the Brussels Jugend Young Pioneers Training Corps programme. The Parliamentarian is, however, open to anyone in need of shelter from the rain, Roma pickpockets, Algerian muggers or African rioters, any combination of which can make a trip to the third world city of Brussels a less than satisfactory experience. At only one point in the entire visit is there even the slightest opening for a dissenting point of view. This is the MEP's wall, where each MEP is given up to 60 seconds in which to talk about the work of the European Union and of members of its fig leaf parliament. I'll be writing my minute script over the Christmas holiday and recording it when we go back in January, promises Nick. I'm not yet sure how to approach it. Mockery is one option. I'm half tempted to hire a Dalek outfit, hang a little plastic EU blue and gold star flag from its extermination knob and shout "Federate, Federate, Federate" in a Dalek accent. On the other hand, I may try the serious approach and do my best to fit into 60 seconds a potted history of the ugly truth behind the Euro elite's taxpayer-funded 60-year-long leftist war against freedom, democracy and identity. Still, never fear, the whole thing could now easily disintegrate under the weight of its own contradictions, extravagance and chronic lack of realism. How long will the Greeks, Spaniards and Italians put up with the voiceless, indentured servants of Bundesbank Gauleiters? How long will the Germans, Dutch and Brits put up with the financing totally inadequate but still eye-wateringly expensive bailouts? How long before the whole house of cards is brought down by European banking elites' head in the sand refusal to choose between a hyperinflationary money-printing bailout or a deflationary collapse into debt depression? One thing is for sure, the parliamentarian will soon or later need another room in which to tell the end of the EU story. World news. 60 people have been killed by bombings in Iraq as American troops leave the country. 14 explosive devices went off around the same time to cause maximum damage and injury, so emergency services could not get to all of the injured at once. Iraqi spokesmen have said that the violence will escalate now that the United States has gone and pulled out, and we are left to pick up the pieces after they invaded us for our oil. The American Republican candidate Mitt Romney has openly said that he would deport Barack Obama's uncle, named as Onyango Obama, out of the country and back to his country of origin. The 67-year-old uncle of Barack Obama was caught by police this year whilst drunk behind the wheel of his car while coming out of a fast food chicken restaurant. Although he had been released from the detainment centre, he is accused of not returning to Kenya 20 years ago. Thought for the day. I was disappointed when Surrey Heath Council banned the Salvation Army from playing in the Camberley precinct 4 years ago. I asked the solitary bandsman left playing his trumpet at the time why. He stated the local council said it was a health and safety matter. All is now well, at least in Reading, Berkshire. I was there this morning and the entire mass band of the Sally Army was playing in the shopping precinct, which I believe is not within the local council's realm of health and safety, but rather local shopkeepers. Keep up the good work for Christmas, Sally Army. Also in evidence were Asians passing out leaflets about Diwali to passers-by. I did not participate in this one, each to their own, I feel. And finally, a woman who took to lying upside down to avoid a miscarriage has become a mother. Mrs. Donna Kelly, aged 29, had miscarriages and was determined not to let this stop her from being a mother. An expert in miscarriages advised Mrs. Kelly to lie upside down even when she watched TV for the last few months of her pregnancy, until she finally gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. We all wish her well. You have been listening to the last World at 8 before Christmas, and I am Lynn Mozar. May I, Paul and the rest of the Radio Britain team take this opportunity of wishing all nationalists, and especially British National Party members, supporters and activists, a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. We look forward to broadcasting in January 2012. A Merry Christmas, one and all.